Hello! My name is Callista, and welcome back to Danganronpa V3, Killing Harmony. In the last episode, we learned the truth. Kokichi and Kaito were working together to end the killing game. And for some reason, Shuichi's just decided that the killing game should actually continue. I honestly don't know what has happened to Shuichi. Like, his IQ has dropped to the double digits. I don't know what happened. Maybe while the camera was focused on a different character, they were talking. Maybe it was while Maki was, talking about, like, oh yeah, I killed him, I did it, blah blah blah. Maybe Shuichi decided to bash his head into his podium, and he's dealing with, like, a minor concussion. Like, I can only assume that is what has happened, because I don't. Literally, Kaito outright told him, I'm trying to end the killing game. And Shuichi's like, no, I'll go along with what Monokuma wants. And again, this is all coming from someone who hates Kaito. I despise Kaito. I actively want to see him die. And I'm like, we should go along with his plan. I hate the man. I want him dead. But he's got a good plan, and we should go along with it. And for whatever reason, Shuichi, who trusts Kaito, who loves him, who does not presumably want to see him die, is like, oh yeah, I should totally push his execution forward. I'm like, Shuichi, what is wrong with you, buddy? I'm just gonna headcanon that he smashed his head into his podium at some point while we weren't looking. That is, like I said, that's the only reason I can think of. That he smashed his head, he's got a concussion, he doesn't know what he's doing. And he's just like, right, I've got to go along with the killing game. I don't understand why Shuichi is being quite so dumb in this moment. I will show you the truth. The truth you can't deny. Oh, hello, closing argument. Yeah, I thought that was upcoming. Okay, actually, it'll be better off to see what we've got here. An exisal inside the hangar. Electro bomb. Okay. Oh, okay. Hello? Second arrow. There's Kokichi pretending to drink. Oh, hello. Actually. Yeah, he took out the electro bomb. He cut the electrics. And that's opened up. Hit the exisal. Trail of blood. And the only okay, well, right there. And hit the exisal would be, yeah, right there. Excuse me. Where am I? Seriously, where am I? I'm so confused. Okay, right there. Trail of blood. Okay, who drank the antidote? Okay, he's being dragged along the ground. There we go. Drink the antidote. Assemble the crossbow. Kokichi in the press. The culprit in the press. Okay, let's... Yeah, you right there. And assembling the crossbow would be right at the beginning. Yeah, the culprit, he put it together. And these two should both be close to the end. Okay, yeah, Yeah, Kaito was put in first. And then Kokichi. And... okay, so 3 arrows. The culprit's left arm. Kokichi's clothes flush down the toilet. Kokichi's back. And Kokichi's right arm. Okay. Okay, again, I like going from the beginning. Yeah, that one's done. As are you. Where? Oh, it was right there. Well, I'm looking at the backgrounds. Yeah, I think he must have shot him in the arm because the background is the same as the bathroom. Okay, and Maki, she first hit Kokichi. And then she hit Kaito. Okay, just 2 left. Okay, they left, yeah, they left the arrows in the bathroom. Okay, and that just leaves you.
This is the truth of the case! Let's go over the trick that Kokichi and the culprit created together. Last night, Kibo saw Himiko from the window of his lab. She was carrying a black case and heading to the Exisal hangar. When she reached the hangar, she handed the case to someone through the bathroom window. That someone is the culprit of this case. Locked in the bathroom, the culprit had asked Himiko to bring them a certain weapon. A disassembled crossbow from Maki's lab. The culprit was going to use the crossbow to challenge Kokichi to a fight. Some time passed, and Maki made her way to the hangar. She was going to the hangar to kill Kokichi and save the culprit trapped in the bathroom. However, the hangar had an electric barrier preventing her from entering. Fortunately for her, she had an electro hammer to get around the barrier, in a way. She used her electro hammer to disable an Exisal and climbed inside. She knew Exisals could bypass the barrier, so she got inside one. Around that time, the culprit and Kokichi began their confrontation. While Kokichi was checking up on them, the culprit ambushed him with a crossbow. But the culprit didn't intend to kill Kokichi. They just wanted to disable him. That's why the culprit aimed for Kokichi's right arm. If they really wanted to kill him, they would have shot him in his vitals. Kokichi reeled from the arrow, and the culprit jumped on him immediately. He didn't want Kokichi to have the chance to summon an Exisal with a remote. While they were fighting, something happened that caught them both off guard. The shutter of the hangar opened, and an Exisal stepped inside. Kokichi was definitely not expecting an Exisal to interrupt them. He pulled out his remote in an attempt to control the Exisal. But Maki leaped out of the cockpit and shot Kokichi with her crossbow. The arrow hit Kokichi right in the back, and it was no normal arrow. The tip was covered in a lethal poison from my lab called Strike 9 poison. The poison kills slowly. It seems as if Maki wanted Kokichi to confess before he died. But even with poison in his veins, Kokichi continued to spin his lies. When she had had enough, Maki tried to finish him off with another poisoned arrow. But this time, Maki was the one caught by surprise. To keep Maki from becoming the Blackened, the culprit used their body to shield Kokichi. The culprit's left arm was struck by a poison arrow. Maki remembered that there was an antidote in my lab and immediately ran off to get it. The strychnine poison slowly circulated through their systems and would soon kill them both. But in that desperate situation, Kokichi thought up a clever lie. He incorporated this unforeseen event into his plan to help him win the killing game. Or should I say, help him defeat Monokuma. That was Kokichi's true objective. It's why he claimed to be the mastermind. Thinking fast, Kokichi closed the shutter so that Maki could not re-enter the hangar. Thus, Kokichi's final lie was set into motion. When Maki returned with the antidote, she couldn't get back inside the hangar. So she went around to the hangar bathroom and passed the antidote through the window. But after the culprit was given the antidote, Kokichi immediately snatched it. Kokichi drank down all of the antidote while the culprit and Maki watched in horror. Maki must have been panicking, thinking the only antidote was now gone. She believed that the culprit was going to die from her own poisoned arrow. But it was all another one of Kokichi's lies. He had only pretended to drink the antidote. Maki tried desperately to break into the hangar, even slashing the control panel. But she couldn't get the shutter to open again. Defeated, she had no choice but to leave. After Maki had left, Kokichi took out another weapon. An electrobomb, capable of disabling communication devices for hours. Kokichi's plan was to use an electrobomb to knock out Monokuma's surveillance cameras. That was why he commissioned Mew to make the bombs in the first place. After detonating an electrobomb, Kokichi coerced the culprit into drinking the antidote. In exchange for the antidote, Kokichi asked the culprit to cooperate with his plan. Kokichi needed to work with the culprit to execute his final lie. Under normal circumstances, the culprit would never have agreed to such a plan. But because the culprit owed him for saving their life, they agreed to Kokichi's request. Request is a generous term. It was more like blackmail. In any case, the two were now working together as accomplices in an insane plan. There was a lot to prepare and not a lot of time. They had to work fast. If Kokichi died from the strychnine poison, the whole plan would be ruined. After fabricating the scene in the bathroom, the culprit dragged Kokichi to the hydraulic press. This is how the swipe pattern bloodstain from the bathroom to the press was created. Kokichi, with the support of the culprit, stood in front of the press's control panel. The two of them were finally ready to execute the insane lie. While Kokichi was setting up the video camera near the hydraulic press's control panel, the culprit laid face up inside the press, draping their coat over their shoulders. Then, Kokichi activated the press and the camera's record button at the same time. The hydraulic press came down slowly, all caught on tape for us to see. Normally, the safety function would have triggered, but the electrobomb had disabled it. The press got lower and lower, and just as the culprit disappeared from view, Kokichi pressed the force stop button and the camera's pause button simultaneously. The two then switched places and also switched roles. The culprit and the victim. The would-be victim became our culprit and started up the press and camera. Kokichi had saved the culprit's life because his trick required their cooperation. He wanted to win the killing game, even if it meant dying himself. And so, Kokichi was crushed by the press, and the whole thing was caught on video. The culprit's left sleeve was dangling from the press, making us think he was the victim. Now alone, the culprit collected the video camera and tore the hydraulic press's power cord so that it could never be raised again. This would make it impossible for us to determine the identity of the crushed body. But there was another reason the victim was killed in this way. It obfuscated the cause of death, making the case that much more difficult to solve. This was all part of Kokichi's plan to create a murder not even Monokuma could figure out. With the press disabled, the culprit returned to the bathroom to flush Kokichi's clothes. Finally, they climbed inside of an exisal to hide and waited with bated breath. And here they are now in this trial, pretending to be Kokichi. They're trying to deceive Monokuma in order to defeat the true mastermind. And that's it. That's Kokichi's unidentified culprit trick. The culprit is in that exisal. It's you, isn't it? Kaito Momota, the ultimate astronaut. I'm right, aren't I? That's you in there, isn't it, Kaito?
I'm sorry, so he realizes that Kaito is doing this to defeat the mastermind. And he still goes, I have thoughts. I give my thoughts at the end of the trial. I'll just hold off.
Really? Is it really, Kaito?
I must reluctantly agree with Shuichi's deduction.
Man! Shuichi sure loves his crazy deductions!
Huh?
You're still not gonna admit it?
Admit it? But it's wrong.
Well, to open the hatch. Open the hatch. Prove it.
But logically speaking, his deduction tracks.
If it's really Kaito in there, he would have admitted it by now.
Was Shuichi's reasoning wrong somehow?
I don't know what I'm arguing against at this point. Because on one hand, Shuichi is correct. I believe him to be correct. I think that version of events, it tracks up with so much of what we've seen. And it is exactly the kind of plan that Kokichi would create. It is exactly... It It's Kokichi. It is so Kokichi. And again, it's all to defeat the mastermind. It's to end the killing game. Kaito would go along with that. Kaito would absolutely go along with that. We know that Kaito views himself as a hero. This is, you know, like the ultimate heroic action, defeating the mastermind, ending the killing game. And Shuichi, for whatever reason, is just like, yeah, no, not today. Not today. Let's keep it going. So on one hand, I'm like, you know, oh, open it. Open the thing. Open the hatch. If you're so sure that it's wrong, blah, blah, blah. But then at the same time, I'm like, don't open the hatch. We should be going along with this. Because then we can stop the killing game and we can tell Monokuma to do one. I don't know what I'm arguing for and against now anymore. Shuichi, what is wrong with you? Why did you bash your head into the podium? No, my detective work was flawless. It's the truth. Yes, I agree, but why are you pushing this? I'm sure that Kaito is inside that exisal. So why is Kaito still fighting me? Because Shuichi, I've been saying this to various people throughout this whole trial. Shuichi, engage your brain. Shuichi, stop bashing your head into the podium. It's giving you a concussion. It might be giving you mild brain damage. Like, stop it, Shuichi. Just think it through. Think it through, please. Is this I'm fine. I'm fine. Okay, I can't hold off on my thoughts. This has been, hands down, the best class trial in the entire franchise. Hands down, this was amazing. I can't even put into words how good this was. I feel really emotional. Right now because this was amazing. And Shuichi is bringing down the quality hard, because why on earth have they made him this stupid? Shuichi has never been this dumb in the entire game. This, to be honest, this reminds me a little bit of Makoto in Chapter 6 of the first game, where he's suddenly like, I have a spine, and it's like, where the fuck was that? How long have we been playing this? Like, over 50 hours at this point, I think. And now you just randomly have a spine. You just now randomly get a spine that you haven't had, and you expect me not to think that's weird. You expect me not to question the quality of the writing because it's like, oh, no, we need Makoto to be a doormat, so he's a doormat. Yeah, in Chapter 2, we still need him to be a doormat. Chapter 3, doormat. Chapter 4, doormat. Chapter 5, doormat. Oh, Chapter 6, oh, no. Well, it can be a doormat for the first half of Chapter 6. And then halfway through the trial, he suddenly needs to take charge for no apparent reason. So he's just gonna, we're just gonna write him as having a spine. It's bad writing. Shuichi has never been this slow. Shuichi has never been this dumb. So the fact that right at the end of what was an amazing trial, a fantastic trial, the best case they have ever done, they suddenly like, oh, well, we need this to go a certain way. And rather than having, to be honest, here's the thing, I can see, right now, I can see one very easy way to change this that would make it work. And I haven't gone through the rest of this trial, obviously, I'm pausing right here. So maybe something is going to happen that would make what I'm about to say null and void. But literally, I can see one change that would redeem this. Shuichi, you know, he realizes, oh, there was a switch, and Shuichi clams up. Especially after the line where Kaito is outright like, yeah, I'm trying to end the killing game. That's what I'm doing here, Dodoi. Especially after that line, I'm sorry, there is not a cat in hell's chance that Shuichi would not be able to pick up on what Kaito was putting down. There is no way that Shuichi would not be able to put 2 and 2 together. Because right now he's putting 2 and 2 together and he's getting 765. Like, that is not 2 plus 2. That is not... There is no way... I'm sorry, I'm stuttering because I'm so frustrated that they've done this. The writing has suddenly taken a massive decrease in quality at the end of what was such a beautifully written case, trial. This was, literally, they've dumbed him down, and again, I need to see how this ends, but right now I'm like, why for would you do this? Why? And to be honest, it just kind of seems to me that they were like, oh, we need this trial to go a specific way, so we're gonna make Shuichi a moron at the end. And I'm like, that's bad writing, that's bad writing. Literally, all they had to do, so Shuichi figures out there's a switch, Kaito says the line about, like, I'm stopping the killing game, and Shuichi says, I'm not playing. I'm done. I'm shutting up. And then Monokuma takes over and says, well, you don't need to say anything because I figured it out. And Monokuma gives the recap. Monokuma does the comic book and gives the recap. And that's literally all they need to change. You'd still have the, you know, the execution and all of that, assuming this is gonna go the same way as the other trials. Assuming there isn't some amazing twist that redeems this, in which case my apologies in advance. You know, if I've kind of, you know, if there are people at home going like, no, Callista, just wait 2 minutes, like, I'm sorry. This is my gut reaction though. Assuming that they still wanted, okay, no, Kaito is the Blackened, and we have to execute him, and we need this, this, and this. Literally, all they had to do to not write Shuichi out of character was he shuts up and Monokuma does the comic book. That's literally... This is such a shame. This is such a shame because at no point in this game have they written Shuichi as a moron. This is coming completely out of left field, and it feels like they needed this to end in the expected way, and therefore they were like, we need to dumb Shuichi down. And I'm like, there was something else you could have done. Have Monokuma do the wrap-up. That's literally it. And it ends in the exact same way, and you haven't written Shuichi as a moron. You haven't written him out of character. This was a fantastic trial with a very disappointing ending. Is this about Monokuma, or is there another aspect to this?
You claim everything is set, and that's it. You don't have any evidence, do you? You all think the body was switched when the hydraulic press stopped for a moment. But that's just speculation in the end. No evidence to back it up. So if we reverse our reverse way of thinking, then it's likely I didn't do anything, right? It's totally possible that the body switching never happened and Kaito is dead. Not just possible, it's the actual truth.
Well, it's true. There's no proof that the bodies were switched.
No, we should trust Shuichi's deduction. I'm sure everything will be okay. This emotion I've learned, I believe you call it faith. That's what I feel right now.
Oh, Kibo, you beautiful boy, but, like, don't. Shuichi's doing a dumb. Shuichi's doing a dumb. Like, you can't see it, but right now, Shuichi is smacking his head into the podium. If the camera would just turn a little bit, we'd see it. Kibo, no, bless you, but no, now is not the time to feel faith.
That's right. We have to believe in Shuichi.
Well, I don't care either way. But if you guys get it wrong, you'll have to deal with Monokuma. What will the results of this voting time be? If Monokuma makes a mistake, he won't be able to execute anyone, right?
And again, we're getting more of these, like, hey, I'm trying to tell you what I'm doing, and you're like picking up on it, and it's so obvious. It's so obvious what is going on. And Shuichi, again, he can't hear over the sound of his head smacking into the podium. It's so disappointing that they made Shuichi act so out of character at the very last minute. Again, this was so beautifully written. This was so wonderfully written, and then they ruin it because, oh, we need this to go a certain way, and the only way we can do that is by having the main character suddenly drop 100 IQ points. Like,
Then it will be my victory. And that will ruin the entire killing game.
Ruin? Oh my god! He finally fucking gets it. I want to cry. I actually want to cry. Shuichi, where did you put your brain? Where did you leave it in your room? Shuichi, why are you like this? Why have you suddenly become like this? I see, so that's your objective. You mean to ruin the killing game itself, and you're ruining the plan to ruin the killing game. That's why Kaito has been so stubborn all this time. But he hasn't found his brain. He has not engaged his brain. Shuichi, what the hell? And on that disappointing note, I am going to bring today's episode to a close. In the next one, will Shuichi stop bashing his head into the podium? Find out then! So please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.